AI agents. Everyone's talking about them, but let's be honest, most people have no idea what they actually are. The hype makes them sound like digital employees that can run your whole business overnight. In this talk, I break it all down. No jargon, no fluff. What AI agents really are, how they work, what they do well, and what they can't do. Think of it like AI Agents 101. I will be cutting through all the noise so you actually understand the incredible opportunity you have to scale your business with AI agents.
Let's look at what agents are. We talked briefly about this. The technology we're talking about, when we talk about AI, we need to be very specific with what we say. We are talking about the technology of large language models. There is other forms of AI out there. There is other forms of machine learning out there. This is not the only game in town, but this is the hype right now. This is the thing everyone is talking about. This technology fundamentally relies on language, okay? We feed it vast quantities of data that we've swept up from the internet. We turn them into something called tokens. You can imagine a token as like a couple of 1 or 2 characters from this string. That means that any AI has a finite amount of responses it can give you. It's like something like 10 to the power of 56 possible combinations of words that it can give you. It's an ungodly amount of words, but it can't think anything outside of those things. It cannot move outside of that tree. And what it is doing, when you give it an input, it looks through its statistical tree of likely responses, and it arrives at a conclusion and says, if I say, hey, GPT, the cat sits on the, and all of your brains have probably gone, mat, or maybe chair or table or something like that. It wouldn't make sense to say the cat sits on, a frozen planet in the middle of nowhere, right? It is not logical to complete the sentence with that. So you are working with language. Language is only a very small part of our intelligence, which is an interesting thing to say. You don't need language for reasoning. Many animals in the animal kingdom have the ability to reason. They don't have the ability to speak. And I think a lot of the conversation around AI puts too much emphasis that all intelligence is based on language. It's not. It's a very specific form of intelligence we're talking about. But this is what you are dealing with. You put language in, it creates language out, and we can do magical things with that. We can create content. We can have it write an email. We can have it navigate to a particular point on a website. We can have it generate an image based on that language, okay? It gives us incredible capabilities, but we are constrained to the world of language. That is what ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of those other models are built on. It is the transformer network invented in 2017, large language models. So what are agents? How are they different? They have the same technology at their core. It is a large language model, or if we're being really fancy, we can use large reasoning models, which is just a trick of getting large language models to talk to themselves, to reason. There's some debate whether they do or do not reason, okay? They work autonomously towards a goal based on your natural language. Just like when you tell an employee, hey, I want you to send the invoice to customer A, they understand from your language, they reason through that language, and they create a series of steps in their mind, hopefully, where they say, well, I'll open up 0, I'll create the invoice, I'll type in how much that is. Language kicks all of that reasoning off in their brain. AI agents promises the same level of technology with some caveats that we need to be really careful of. But the key thing with agents is large language models just are text in, language out. Write me an email. Yes, here you go. AI agents can actually, in its language output code, output something called JavaScript object notation, which allows them to execute a tool. So it's not just write the email, it's send the email. Write it, then send it. It's not just create the invoice, it's open up 0, create the invoice, send it, write the welcome email. That gives you unbelievable power with AI agents to do things in your business. These aren't just things that sit passively by anymore. They take action, they can create value, they can take work away from people in your team. They can do all of this. But again, we must remember we personify these things far too much. We think they are like us. They are not. They're a different form of intelligence. They don't have an internal self-drive. They don't wake up in the morning and go, I should probably get breakfast, make a coffee. I need to get down to this workshop today. Let me make a plan. They just sit thinking or waiting for you to ask them to think. So they are inert. They don't have an internal self-drive. They don't have common sense. I really got myself in trouble with an agent the other day, decided to offer to cook for my brother's wedding, 21 people, sat by a pool in Portugal. GPT, create me the recipes, put it on the shopping list, order all of that, great. I arrive, 21 people, very hungry. And they say, when are you baking this bread? I was like, what are you talking about? Just making focaccia, I'm not baking bread. GPT had decided to order me flour, yeast, salt, the constituent parts of focaccia that I was supposed to make throughout the day. These things don't have common sense, and this is one of the ways that you can compete in the world of AI, because we have common sense. That's actually a really hard thing to do in intelligence, is to have opinions and common sense, okay? But fundamentally, what we're talking about here is breaking AI out of the box and giving them useful tools, just like when humans invented tools, suddenly amazing technology, amazing society to build around that. If you're not using AI agents, it's kind of like being in a foot race where you are just a normal human being. You have trained hard. You are fast. And someone turns up on the start line and they've got bionic legs, they've got a heart that pumps 25,000 times faster than you, they don't even have lungs, they've got something completely different. And it's not a fair fight. Businesses with AI agents embedded in them doing valuable work, it's not fair. And so we've got to integrate with this because we want you to be the winner in these races, okay? Let's talk about some of the failure modes of AI. This should give you some ability to sleep more peacefully at night. There's something more in robotics. There's something called Moravec's paradox. Moravec's paradox simply states that computers are incredibly good at things humans are incredibly bad at, and humans are incredibly good at things computers are incredibly bad at. So let me give you some examples of this. GPT can translate your book into any language it has enough training data on. It can speak more languages fluently than I would say any human on earth possibly can. It can run calculus at levels that only kind of math professors in major US universities can run, right? Most humans cannot do that. It can spot tiny defects in images over large data sets that humans would really struggle with. It can play chess and go to a level where it can comprehend every possible move 1,000 moves out, okay? And so you cannot beat it. We look at that as humans and we go, wow, what a magical thing. Like, it's so good. It must be able to have common sense, create a plan, pick an object up in 3D space and move it around. Like, doing this is incredibly difficult. We find it so easy because our brains have evolved over millions of years to do so. Just look at some videos of robotics trying to fold a t-shirt. Like, that is an unbelievably difficult problem. So Moravec's paradox is where we find a lot of failure in AI projects, because we try to apply AI to these things here, where the humans are great, and we wonder why they make mistakes like ordering flour for focaccia rather than just ordering the bread, right? We want to focus your AI efforts on empowering your humans. I am not here saying AI is going to take over the world, and I'm not saying you should use AI to fire all of your employees. Don't do that. Don't be Klarna. Use AI to supercharge your employees and create a system that works together. You've all heard about AI hallucinating, the hallucination issue. This is a feature, not a bug. You cannot fix this. There is no way you fix this. In fact, the hallucination problem is getting worse as these models get better, because this is how it functions. When I say to GPT, create me an email, it hallucinates tokens, words, based on your input. So you cannot fix it. We must work with this, not against this. It is like the most incredible employee you've ever had, but they turn up to work drunk 95% of the time. So you've got to have minders for these things, okay? That's how you get around this. The context problem, I need to change this image. I think it's too horrible, but I was pretty impressed with the AI for this one. The context problem is hilarious. If you work in code and you're told that AI is going to take your job, you work with AI and you say, well, let me try this vibe coding thing out. This sounds pretty cool. And you realize there's a fundamental problem with vibe coding because an AI has a context window. You can imagine this like your short-term memory. It's about, different models have different context windows, but it's a few pages of a book in most cases. As things drop out of the context window, so this is a number of tokens, a number of words it's got in its mind, as your start of the conversation drops out of its context window, it forgets it. It's like it's got amnesia. My uncle has amnesia, and when you walk out of the room, short-term memory loss, he forgets you were there. You have to reintroduce yourself. It's very annoying. This is the same thing with AI. It forgets about your original prompt, but it sees traces. It sees like ghosts in the machine, where it sees ripples across the pool of your initial prompt in the references in the rest of your chat. This is why any of you that are vibe coding will eventually reach a wall of complexity that it cannot get over. And for every bug you fix, it creates 20. And you go, oh, I just fixed that. Why is it doing this? It's because it's forgotten the context of the program. Humans don't need this. I don't need to remember every comma, every bracket, every file in the code base in order to solve one bug, because I can have general context of something and zoom in to a specific level of detail, okay? So the context window problem is solvable. It's something we've got to work with, where we say there is a limitation on its memory. We're going to refresh it. We're going to prompt it. We're going to create small agents that do small tasks rather than the God model, okay? Congruency. Who suffers from this one with GPT? GPT, 1 + 1 is actually 11. Oh my God, you are pushing the boundaries of mathematics. How are you such a genius? This is called the overglazing problem, okay? I think this is one of the most interesting points for anyone in consulting or anyone in a strategic position in their business. I think there is a massive amount of damage being done to the world of business where people are using AI as business advisors increasingly. You will never have a bad idea in the eyes of AI. If you ask it to run into a burning building, it'd be like, let's go. This is a great idea. It is like Putin with his generals. No one wants to give him bad news because you fall flying out of a window, okay? AI is the same. It has to be congruent, because when I say, ChatGPT, write me the sales email, we need it to write the sales email, not say, I don't really feel like that today. Do one, because then I'm not going to pay my subscription, okay? So you have an advantage over AI as a human, because you can say, that is a really bad idea. I don't think we should do that. If you've ever worked in design, clients have bad design ideas all the time. Half the job as a designer is getting them to walk away from that bad idea and pick the least bad option, right? Being incongruent is the superpower of the human. AI models are inherently congruent. Be careful with the advice you take from them. I'm reading stuff about people using GPT as a spiritual leader. I don't know where that leads us, but I don't think it's anywhere too good, okay? This is the fundamental thing that I want to give you in this first section of this talk. The world has changed. There is a new economy emerging. There is massive opportunity for the businesses who take advantage of this. The technology is large language models with tools, but this is the key. It is human and AI symbiosis. It is a system where we put them together that you have something that is less fragile. It can deliver better results. It actually avoids a lot of the failure modes of AI. We're not going to fire our teams like Klarna. Don't do that. Find your best employees, surround them with AI, and lift them up so they can do more things.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you may like this one too.